been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Somebody run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I pray to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now. Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now.
So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs, while I'm taking care of my family and showing them love. And you thinking you high, well I'm thinking you not, cause what really makes you a man is keeping the laws of God. Wait a minute, let me tell the truth. Life and death is set before you, what you gon' do? And if you wanna get them demons from up on you, and I suggest you start repenting, man.
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so
boy, you better.
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now.
Profits here, yeah. You better man up.
Profits here now.
We the saviors of the
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now. See hanging on the corner, see hanging on the streets. Somebody run up on you, someday you never see. I got that Bible on me, don't need no gun. You got them questions, I get it like everyone. Looking like I come for war, even when I come in peace. 3 times I pray to the Lord, 3 times I turn to these. Pop out to the club, sipping on that cup. Everything you do, I done did and I gave it up. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now. Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better. Cause the profits here now. You better.
Hey, bring that out.
Cause the profits here now.
So you think you a man, cause you pushing them drugs, while I'm taking care of my family and showing them love. And you thinking you high, well I'm thinking you not, cause what really makes you a man is keeping the laws of God. Wait a minute, let me tell the truth. Life and death is set before you, what you gon' do? And if you wanna get them demons from up on you, and I suggest you start repenting, man.
You been making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corner. prophets here, so
you better.
you been making violence, killing brothers with your violence, selling drugs up on the corners, but the prophets here, so man up. Cause the prophets here now.
Prophets here, yeah. You better man up.
Prophets here
We
now.
the saviors of the
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless, Most High in Christ bless. Another day, another Monday. Hey, so today we're going to go over, this is going to be a part 2 of unearthing the depths of trauma that lies beneath. And when you look at the word trauma, trauma is extended from the different captivities we experience, primarily, like I said, the transatlantic slave trade. As people have been tuning in lately, you're to find out that the people that have been portraying themselves as the saviors, oh, we went through the same thing as you. We suffered the Holocaust like you suffered the Holocaust. We're suffering oppression just like you suffer oppression. No, you're the ones that inflicted oppression on us. You're the ones that, you were the slave owners. You were the plantation owners. You're the one that insured the ships that brought us to America. You became rich off our slave trade. You're the one that owned the banks that profit off our slave trade. And you're the one that owned the ships, like I said, that shipped us over to this country as cargo. So when we talk about trauma, we're talking about generational trauma that was inflicted by your ancestors, which you portrayed to be some self-righteous individual with a yarmulke on saying, L'chaim. No. But the Lord has been revealing you for the demon that you are, and we're going to keep bringing out every time we have breath, we have sight, we wake up. This is going to be our main focus, is you. Now, let's start off with Psalms 142, verse 6. But they tell us to get over it. But you yourself, we got to look at Schindler's List every year, and then we got to look at another movie, X-Men 10, on the Holocaust or the oppression of Jewish people. But when it comes to black people, oh, forget about it. That was a long time ago. Let's read that.
Psalm chapter 142, verse 6. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low.
So David is speaking through his people. The Spirit of the Lord on David is able to see the things that have been inflicted upon our people. And he's saying, attend unto my cry. We're the only one that sings the songs of tears. And the tears of our ancestors, since we've been brought to the shores of North America, everything's been sorrow, crying, pain, affliction, oppression. That's the songs of the Israelites. Go on.
For I am brought very low.
Look at us. We're brought very low. When you look at the history in the Middle Ages, or what we call as the Dark Ages, when black people ruled Europe, we were your crown princes, we were your kings, we were your queens, we were your knights of the round table, we were your warriors. But now we're at the bottom of society to the point that we don't even know who we are as a people. Go on.
Deliver me from my persecutors.
Deliver me, King David said, from my persecutors. And that's what we ask every day. But some of you go to the court systems, you go marching up in the streets, you try to appeal to your oppressor, acting some type of justice or peace for the people that brought you from the shores, that raped your mother, that afflicted you, that committed mass genocide, that shackle you in chains, that lock you up in a prison institution, that feed you poison, that give you bad education, but you want to appeal to that person. The Bible says, read that again.
Deliver me from my persecutors.
You should be asking the Lord, don't go to your oppressor, go to the highest judge, which is God. Deliver me from my persecutors. Deliver me from the ADL, the JDL, the SPLC, the Mossad, the Israeli government. Deliver me from my persecutors. When you go back into time, brothers and sisters, from time and time out, from the time we were in ancient Rome, when Herod and the Herodian dynasty, they always persecute us. They persecute us and they killed us. They killed our children 2 years old and under, trying to find a Messiah. Because why? He understood the prophecy that a Savior was to come and to rule over Bethlehem. That he's going to be the crowned king. There's no king and no governor but Christ. So he tried to kill him. And he killed many of our ancestors. Then you had another persecution. And that's why in Revelation 2 verse 9 it says, fear not what the devil shall do, for he shall lock you up and kill you. You shall have tribulation 10 days. They persecuted us back then. They locked us up back then, trying to portray themselves to be somebody that they're not, to replace us. Get rid of us and replace us as if we never existed. And then it comes up back into time. We ran into the Caucasus Mountain thinking that we got rid of the roaches. We got rid of the rats. That we pushed them off in the caves where they belong. In a place of darkness where no light shines. Because they are the children of darkness. And guess what? Somehow they came out of the caves like the rats they are. And then they slithered away like the snakes they are also back into power and rulership. Because we always had affinity towards these nations and we taught them up. And they persecuted us again under the Spanish crown, under Ferdinand and Isabella. And then we went into slavery. We went into slavery and we sung the song of oppression. And then America, here we are yet again. In the land of our oppressor, and they're persecuting us again, and they're going to do the same thing that they did in the past. Read it again.
Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I.
They are stronger economically. They're stronger militarily. They're stronger in terms of the government institutions that they own, as well as the different media factions that they possess. The radio stations, the newspaper, the TV, Hollywood, entertainment. They control everything. They're stronger in us. Go on.
Bring my soul out of prison.
David said, bring my soul out of prison. A lot of us are prison within our mind. The trauma that we face, we're prison and we're held captive to our very own thoughts to the point that we can't even get ourselves out of this prison. You're captured within your mind. That's why Christ says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make us free. The only thing that will give us the freedom from our mind is the truth. It will give us freedom from our low state, our depression, our sorrow, our cries, because of the hope that's laid before us. Read that part again.
Bring my soul out of prison.
Bring my soul out of prison. We are prisoners to our own thoughts. We are prisoners to our own trauma. We are prisoners to our own mind. Read.
That I may praise thy name.
That we may praise God's name, because we can't even praise God's name. Because we have high holy days to praise God's name, keeping the laws, but we're so depressed. You come off of work, you're tired. You're a prisoner to your job. You're a prisoner to your fatigue. You're a prisoner to society. And you're tired. You can't even praise God. You can't study the scriptures, read your 4 chapters a day. You can't get off of work so you could live joyfully and party, like I said, and live joyfully on the high holy days and praise the Lord. We can't do these things because we serve the Lord with fear. Read.
That I may praise thy name. The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt deal bountifully with me.
Give me Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12.
Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope.
Turn you to the stronghold. What is the stronghold? The Bible is the stronghold. That's why strength relies. It never relied in these economic movements that we try to enact, thinking that money is going to buy us way out of our conditions. It's not. It doesn't rely, our strength doesn't lie within these political parties. The Democratic Party or the Republican Party voting for Trump never did a damn thing for us. Black people thought that under Trump or even Biden. You got young black kids saying, we are free. No, we're not free. We're still slaves. If anything, it has only gotten worse and worse and worse. Read it again.
Turn you to the stronghold.
Turn you to the stronghold. The Bible is the strongest hold. The Bible is the only thing that can relieve us and relinquish us from our captivity, from the mental incarceration that we're imprisoned to on a daily basis. Read.
Ye prisoners of hope.
We're prisoners of hope. We're prisoners within our own mind, and within our mind, we're hoping that Christ will free us. Free us from our conditions. Free us from these captivities. Free us from this low housing. Free us from these bad education. Free us from poverty. Free us from low self-esteem. Read.
Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee.
Get me Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12 now. So the black man and the black woman, the Latino man and Latino woman, we are prisoners within our own mind. And you can see it on our people's face. They walk around depressed, sorrowful, with their head hanging low, because we're prisoners to our own thoughts and we can't escape it. Go on.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12.
Read.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Hope deferred. To defer means to put off or delay. Read it again.
Hope deferred.
Hope deferred. We're prisoners of hope. We hope for good jobs. We hope for good housing. We hope for food substance. We hope for child care. We hope for medication. We hope for some type of liberty. We hope for justice. The list goes on and on and on, to the point we even hope for 40 acres of a mule, but that didn't come. We hope for justice for Rashim. What's our brother's name that just got killed? Huh? Rasheen Carter, right? Rasheen Carter, Trayvon Martin, Ramarley Graham, Tamil Rice. We hope for some type of justice, but hope that what?
Hope deferred.
But the hope that we hope for is deferred, means delayed, is put off. By the rule of dominant society, the people that they say that the Democratic or the liberals, they're for black rights or equal rights, civil rights, that they're so-called gave to us in the 1960s after Martin Luther King that fought for it. The March of a Million people that came with a loving doctrine was put to death. Hope deferred. Prolonged hope. Since we came to the shores of America, we try to fight our way out of hope, for hope. We try to revolt our way for hope. We try to rebel our way for hope. We marched our way for hope. But hope deferred, meaning put off and pushed far into the future. They promise us one thing, but they never give it to us. They keep on pushing it off. But the Bible says hope deferred, read.
Maketh the heart sick.
Maketh the mind sick. And you wonder why we walk around sick, crazy, confused, lost, sorrowful, depressed, full of all types of mental conditions. Hope deferred maketh the what?
Heart sick.
Maketh the heart sick, to the point that our people die at a young age because of sorrow, because of pain, because of depression. We don't live as long as we used to live because of sorrow and pain. Do you know, give me that in Sirach, I believe it's 38, in terms of sorrow brings forth death. Hope deferred maketh one sick. Read that.
Sirach chapter 38, verse 18. For of heaviness cometh death.
From heaviness cometh death. They know what they're doing. That's why they redline us in the community, and it's called environmental racism. They redline us. They push us in the corners. They experiment on us. They put us in what is called projects, where it's a science experiment, a project to see how black people will react, or what are some characteristics that will develop, or personality traits that will come out of putting them in high-rising buildings on top of each other, knowing that that's not normal or natural for human beings to be stocked up on each other, to the point that you can't even get a good night's sleep, rest. You can't read quietly, do your studies, because you hear somebody right next to you fighting. You hear gunshots. You hear prostitution. You hear sex, loud music, police sirens. They nourish and foster a condition of chaos to keep you in a low self-esteem, or to keep you in a state of turmoil all day long. So that anger that you start to develop because of your conditions, because of your environment, you take that anger out on your brothers and sisters next to you. Some of you even kill yourself. You get depressed, you get on drugs because you can't escape your reality. Your reality is that you are a prisoner within your own mind, and you can't escape it. It's out there when you wake. It's out there when you wake up, when you go out in the hallways and the projects, when you go in the streets, you see it. It's constant pain. It's constant. It's like a constant weight on our shoulders. Read that again.
For of heaviness cometh death.
From heaviness, from sorrow cometh death. Read.
And the heaviness of the heart.
And the heaviness of the mind. Read.
Breaketh strength.
Breaketh strength. That's why the black man, they say the black woman says she's the most unprotected woman in the world. But look how they beat down the black man society to the point that he doesn't even want to defend you. He can't even defend you. He's given up. Now he's on the streets, he's on the corner with no purpose. And to the point that they're selling drugs, killing each other, because there's no point of living. This is the hell. This is hell on earth. Let's go back. Proverbs 13:12.
Chapter 13, verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick. You would think Israel United Christ, for example, we're a God-fearing, commandment-keeping organization that teaches against violence, that teaches the black family to unite, to teach the black man to marry his black woman as well as the Latino man, to stop sleeping around with our women without any type of marriage papers or taking her to be a wife. We teach our brothers to stop, to remove themselves from the gang life, to stop smoking, giving it to your drug habits, alcoholism, going to clubs, and we train them and teach them how to be pillars in the community, how to be fathers, how to be brothers, and we teach our sisters how to be wives, how to be pillars of rest. So we teach them, but you have different organizations like the SPLC saying that we're a hate group. That's hope deferred. We see that there's hope in the Bible. We see that, wait a minute, this is the hope that we were looking for. We found it. We've seen it. We see how to fix the black community. We see how to fix the black household. We see that the women that the men complain about, we found the way, or we found the formula how to build up the black man, to make him the man that he was created to be. We found it out. We found out and understood how a woman is supposed to conduct herself, because we thought that that was normalized in the community, that women our black sisters are naturally loud, combative, masculine. We thought that was normal because normalized through the music that we listen to as well as the movies that we watch. They make it normal and plain. It's only our movies. We got dumb black movies. All those hood rap movies, movies with comedians, jokesters. And it plays on it, like I said, they paint the narrative, and it says they paint the narrative in the images that they want us to reflect and portray. And we take on these characteristics. We take on these different containers that the media portrays us, and we become the characters that they show in the movies. So that's the hope that deferreth. We're bringing hope to the community. We're bringing change, and then you have organizations that's trying to paint us up as a terrorist organization. They're trying to paint us as a hate group. They're trying to paint us as a black identity supremacist organization. That's hope deferreth. Go on.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Read.
But when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life.
But when our desire cometh, it's a tree of life. Get me Deuteronomy 28, verse 28 now.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart.
God said he will smite us with what?
Madness.
With madness. Why are black people crazy? We're crazy because you raped our women before us. We're crazy because you tar and feather and then you ripped the limbs of our fathers right before us. We're crazy because you took our sons and our daughters and you gave them to another people. That's why we're crazy. We're crazy because you put us in shackles and chains and you put us in the bottom of a ship and to defecate, to have feces over each other. That's why we're crazy. We're crazy because we have to make a 6 months trip on the bottom of the boat as it's tossing and turning as we get seasick. We're crazy because you lynched our fathers right before us. We're crazy because you burned our ancestors before us. We're crazy because you skinned Nat Turner. We're crazy because you shot Martin Luther King. You shot Malcolm X. You killed Fred Hampton. That's why we're crazy. All of our revolutionary figures, all of our activists you killed. You locked up. You murdered. All of our children you took from us. You poisoned our community. You sterilized us. You give us diseases. You lock us up. You lynch us. And he said, why are you crazy? What's wrong with you? Why do you guys act like animals? What's your problem? Why are you guys complaining? Why don't you pull yourself up by the bootstraps? You took the boots, you took the straps, you took our socks, you took everything. If you could take our soul, you would. But that's one thing that God left us that you cannot take. You cannot take, neither can you break the soul of the Israelite. Because that's our soul was made special and different from everybody else. Because it is only a chosen race of people that can survive the trauma that we experienced for over 400 years to seeing everything that unfolded right before our face. It is only a special people to see your wife raped before you, and it's nothing you could do. And you know it's your job as a man to protect your woman and your children from harm or danger. It is traumatic when you have to see another man provide for your family. You can't even provide food. You can't grow your crops. You can't police your own communities. That makes a man crazy. And from there, it's drug abuse, alcohol abuse. You leave the household because why? You don't feel fit as a father. These are the traumatic experiences that we have suffered because of our history that you're the one that created. You created our conditions and you foster and nourish it. Read on.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt.
That's it. An astonishment of heart. An astonishment of heart. Get me Psalm chapter 80, verse 4.
Psalm chapter 80, verse 4. O Lord God of hosts, how long wilt thou be angry against the prayer of thy people?
God, how long will God be angry at the prayer of thy people? Black people are the most religious people, but we're the most sinful people because we were given the laws of God. How long, God, will you be angry but with the prayer of thy people? Read.
Thou feedest them with the bread of tears.
You feed us, God, with the bread of tears. We're nourished with the nutrition of pain and fear. God feeds us with pain. He feeds us with oppression. He feeds us with sorrow. He fed us with genocide. He fed us with trauma. That's the nutritional food that we eat every day. We eat it, we consume it. And it's part of our physical makeup. And it's encoded within our DNA, that trauma that's been passed down, called PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome, that we experience to this day. And we wonder why we are the way we are. And we like, wow, black people are monsters. You created us in the laboratory to be the Frankensteins that you see today. And you nourish it within the music, and you for the affliction, and you know what these things do. You know what music does to the psyche. You know that we used to sing songs of praise, sing songs of David, sing songs of Solomon, sing songs of Joshua, sing songs of deliverance, sing songs of the angels. You know that we got straight from this Bible. But what do? You poison the one thing that we had, and that's our song of the Lord. You took that from us. You gave us poison in the rap community. Read.
Thou feedest them with the bread of tears, and givest them tears to drink in great measure.
You gave us tears to drink in great measures. These are the tears. When we see when our mothers see, think about what our mother had to see for Raheem Carter to her mother to see that his son's head was removed and it was pretty much sliced straight in a straight line in a circle with a circular saw for his spine to be taken out of his body because you was jealous of his intellect. You didn't want him to stand up as a man. You break the soul of a man. Anytime we try to do good, try to get our education, try to be an upright citizen within society, you say no. We want you to be this. We want you to be a thug. We laugh at that. It's good business. It's good economics. You fund the prisons. You make up, or you're good economics because it's free labor. We like that. We're going to talk about you. Why don't you do this? But we're also going to nourish these conditions so you stay that way and stay thereon. Read it again.
Thou feedest them with the bread of tears, and givest them tears to drink in great measure.
You know how many tears that our mothers have drunk for all the sons that you have killed? You know how many tears that we have drunk for everything that you afflicted upon us? For the millions of so-called African Americans that you killed during the Middle Passage in the shores of America? The earth itself, the blood of the Israelites, the blood of our fathers, the bones speak and cry day and night. And the tears have collected in a measure, and we drink these tears every day. But there is a God, because sooner or later we're going to drink the tears of our enemies. We're going to drink your tears, and we're going to feed off of your pain and sorrow. Read.
Thou makest us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves.
You make us a strife unto our neighbors. You create the internal conflict that we have in our communities. You have the Black Power movement, and you turn it against us. You set up, we had the Bloods, which is brotherly love under oppression and depression, or you even had Crips, which was community restoration and progress. These were two organizations that were set up in the 1980s that was supposed to benefit the communities, but when you killed off our fathers in the 70s, the Black Power movement, you have Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, you have Malcolm X under the Nation of Islam, even though these were done under the wrong spirit. These men loved their people, and they did the best what they thought was right for their people. But you killed them off. You killed the Black Panthers. You put your informants within them, and you turn us against each other. You push feminism in the Black Panther movement. You turn people like Angela Davis against black men and all of our black women against us. Even you did it with the Young Lords. You push feminism with the Young Lords, and that's what caused them to fall as well, because you put the black woman against a black man by your CIA agent, Gloria Steinem. We know your plots, your ploys. We know your tricks. You've been doing it for centuries. And then from there, in the 1980s, or 70s or so, you have Nixon, as well as Reagan, and the CIA agents take drugs from Colombia, from Nicaragua. Thank you. What was the famous drug lord that they got it from? Yes, Pablo Escobar Noriega. So you hired Northern Kingdom, you got the drugs from them, and then you flood the black community, and you have somebody called Ricky Ross, come and sell drugs to their own people. You forward the affliction. You cause strife amongst a neighbor, and the enemies do what?
And our enemies laugh among themselves.
And you laugh amongst yourselves. Look at these niggas. Liberals. Don't they know that Democrats and Republicans, that it's a game, it's a trick? Trick, baby. It's a trick, baby. They don't know that. We're the same people. That we're not for you. They laugh at our tears. They laughed at our pain. They laughed. The sheriff, when Raheem Carter came to the sheriff's office asking for help, he didn't know. He didn't understand the nature of the white man. He didn't know that the sheriff was in on it. He didn't know that the sheriff said, hey, they just came to the office just a second ago. He went this way. We have a surveillance on him. Go this way. He didn't know that the sheriff and all the police were in on it. If they were a part of the hunt. They were probably part of the hunt. They laugh at our pain. Psalms 147, verse 3.
Psalm chapter 147, verse 3. He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds.
So, but there is a healing. He healeth up the broken heart and bindeth up our wounds. We've been wounded in America, and they're still trying to wound us, and they're going to wound us in the future. But God says he's going to heal up our broken heart. With all the trauma that we experience and we face, you would think that America will put institutions in place in order to give us therapy that we need to be functional. But that shows you they broke us. They taught us. They say they broke us. They say, you're free now, nigga. And left us to our own devices, thinking that we have the experience or we have the, why don't you putting this up? Yes, you should be putting these images up as I'm speaking. Come on. You put it up on the screen, but I'm not even knowing. Put this stuff up as I'm speaking if you see some good images. All right? It's too late now. But read that again.
He healeth the broken in heart and bindeth up their wounds.
He healeth the broken heart and he bindeth up our wounds. All the trauma that they inflicted us, you thinking that them relinquishing us or releasing us from slavery or so-called freeing us, that you think that they'll have institutions set up in place so that they could try to give us some type of relief from the trauma that we suffered, that they inflicted upon us. But they didn't. They left us to our own devices so that we could later on destroy ourselves. And then when we did stand up on our feet, they furthered this destruction by bombing our communities, by flooding our neighborhoods, and lynching us, locking us up, and incarcerating us. Now, I want to go back and touch on, like I said, we touched it last week, a couple of weeks ago, but it's been some time. I want to refresh it in your mind. I want to go over the trauma of rape. So this is going to be called the trauma of rape. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25.
Deuteronomy.
Because a lot of our sisters and brothers have been molested, have been raped, have suffered some type of sexual act upon them. And not only from our brothers and sisters or that's happened within our community, but our women been raped all throughout slavery by Jewish people. Yes, I'll say it again. By Jewish people. And they're doing it still within the music industry. You have poor people. You have some of these artists that have talent thinking that, okay, there's a way out. You have some of these Jewish executives that own the different record labels, like your record labels, and you have talent that comes up, say, you know what, this is my chance. And what do? They rape these women. They sexually exploit them. They run trains on them in order for them to be initiated in order to receive a contract. And not only that, they rape the men too. They drug them. They run trains on them, and they film them. You have Orlando Brown. He speaks about it, how something called Panda Eyes, and I did a class on it not too long ago, how they take some of these child stars, these Disney stars, or even these child rappers like Bow Wow. I know everybody heard it when they was younger that Bow Wow got raped by his security guards. To his security guards, that's known. B2K also got raped. I think all of them got raped, right? Or a few of them got molested by these executives, these producers, these people within the industry. You have, who else? Okay, yeah, Orlando Brown, he talked about that. He was molested. He was raped. All these people that you see, these celebrities, and we ask ourselves, how is it that you're rich, but you're still sad and depressed, and you see them, and they're high on drugs and alcoholics, and they become even more sexually promiscuous because of the trauma. And when you're raped, it does something to you to the point that you think of yourself as worthless, so you allow anybody to defile you or to abuse your body because they broken the spirit within you. They made you feel like you're nothing or scum, even dirty, so you just give your body up and you don't even care anymore. You allow people just to abuse you. This is happening every day, and you have these elite. Your presidents, your governors, your mayors, your congressmen and women, your Epsteins, your bankers, all of them involved. You see it with the Epstein case, the logs. He was running a child sex trafficking ring on his island, and you have even Prince Andrew. You have many of these crown prince, Jay-Z's, but all of them, all of Obama, all of them were on the logs. What do you think they're doing? They're raping these little kids. They're sex trafficking, and they're molesting them. They're running trains on these people. They created a condition of a broken people or broken society. Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
That's what is called rape. When you force somebody without consent. You have other camps that teach that it's okay to rape a woman. Where in it? And what history, what book, what records are you reading that from? That it's okay to rape someone. Israel United Christ, we do not teach that. In fact, if anybody decides, they better pray that we don't get to them first before the authority if you decide to touch one of our sisters in this congregation. Read on.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death.
There's no sin worthy of death because why? She screamed. It was unconsensual. She was forced into it. Read.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
So as a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is the matter. Meaning, rape is in comparison to death because when you rape somebody, you kill the spirit within them. They never really become the same. When you see rape victims or men or children or I'll say young boys that were raped or molested from a young age, what happens to the spirit? It changes. It's altered. They become more feminine. They take on feminine attributes because why? You treat them like a woman. You abuse that boy and did things sexually that's not normal. It's against the nature of a man to insert your rod within another man or take him or even, like I said, take his innocence from him. That's against nature. Read that last part.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him.
Rape is murder. You murdered that spirit within that brother, that child. So he grows up to be homosexual, effeminate. And then he does the same thing. He grows up to be a predator, just like his predator. It's a cycle. Yes, it's a repeated cycle. Hey, do you have them on the video from last time? It was with the pastor. You ever find that video? Yeah, if you can find that video. It's an ongoing cycle where you rape a boy, more than often, he becomes to become the predator that he was preyed on. And he begins to rape and molest. And every predator or prey, you always find out, you go into the history, the life, what happened to you. Or even some people that partake in the homosexual lifestyle. We know that's not normal. Now, maybe to Esau, that's normal. The very beginning, when they came in power, they started doing gay stuff. They say in war, pedophilia or when a man involves himself in a homosexual act, it makes him stronger or fight even harder for each other. And what war, what man are you talking about? Now, not us. I know I get strength from a woman. You know, you get a little bit of love and caring, that thing gives me strength. When you see our beautiful black Israelite sister, a Latino Israelite sister, that gives us strength to go to war for our family. Not a man, but. So, you found it? So, you killed the spirit in that man, and you killed the spirit in that woman. A lot of these sisters or these women, rape victims, what happened? They become promiscuous. They overly abuse, they sexualize their body. Some of them go into porn. Some of them go into prostitution. Or some of them allow their bodies to be abused by hundreds of thousands of men. A lot of these people or brothers and sisters are raped victims. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 10, verse 22.
2 Ezra chapter 10, verse 22. Our sultry is laid on the ground.
Our sultry, our songs are laid on the ground. Read.
Our song is put to silence.
Our songs are put to silence. Read.
Our rejoicing is at an end.
Mm-hmm.
The light of our candlestick is put out.
Go on.
The ark of our covenant is spoiled.
Read.
Our holy things are defiled. And the name that is called upon us is almost profane.
Read.
Our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt. Our Levites are gone into captivity. Our virgins are defiled.
They took our virgins during the Persian captivity as well as in America captivity. Our virgins, our young daughters, did they take and defile them? They committed all type of pedophilic acts on our women, on our daughters. You took our daughters from 10 years old, 12 years old, you used them as bed witches, and you did whatever you thought you saw was right to you to do. Go on.
And our wives ravished.
And our wives you took before us, and you ravished them. You raped them right before us. You used them as bed witches. Read.
Our righteous men carried away. Our little ones destroyed.
You destroyed our little ones. Read.
Our young men are brought in bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And our strong men are become weak.
And our strong men are become what?
Weak.
And you made the strong men in our nation weak by what? Tar and feathering and make an example of the strongest one, to the point that there's no soul in us. There's no will to or fire to fight any longer or to command. Got it? No? Okay, don't worry about it. Now get me the article. Go to Sirach chapter 42, verse 9. Because it's our job as fathers to protect our loved ones. And when you take our power from us, when you took our women, our daughters, you understand the trauma that was inflicted upon us as men to see that? And the generational trauma that our women experienced, to the point that they allowed themselves to be sexually exploited on channels such as BET, hip-hop, and the different songs, the rap songs, when a woman displays themselves to be naked, to twerk, when our women the only one that's doing that in front of everybody, because they feel that their body is only used as a sexual tool. That's the only worth that they have, because you took their dignity, you took their strength, you took everything from them. So now they put their body out there as if it's nothing, if that is not precious. The Bible talks about a woman and her precious things. Her body's her precious things. Her virginity was precious. But now her virginity is like nothing, because you made it nothing. Go on.
Sirach chapter 42, verse 9.
Read.
The father waketh for the daughter when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep.
And the care for her taketh away sleep. Go on.
When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she should be hated.
So it's the father's job to protect his daughter, to the point that it taketh away sleep. So imagine the father that understands that his daughter's being defiled in slavery. It's nothing he could do, because he's locked up in shackles and chains, and he can hear the cries and the screams and the pain of his daughter, and he can see the blood dripping down her legs for you popping her cherry, which that was reserved for her husband. A righteous man, but you took that from her. You took that from him, and you took that from her. It was a father's honor and joy to give his daughter away to a righteous man, to know that his daughter's being taken care of, that his daughter's going to be a wife, a mother. But you took that from us. Get me the trauma in Black Holocaust.
The particular trauma of the enslaved African woman. Facing a strange and hostile environment in North America, African females undoubtedly experience great emotional and physical distress. Yet their anguish and alienation, did not begin on the coast of the New World. For several weeks and sometimes months before they ever reached North America, African girls and women suffered incredibly at the hands of the slave traders, European and African.
Read.
Who captured or brought them.
Who captured European, Amalekites, Jewish, Americans, Europeans, and Hamites captured, read.
Or brought them.
Or bought them, read.
Torn from the very fabric of their lives, these women, many of whom were already married and had children of their own.
We just read that. Our wives, our daughters have you defiled. Our virgins have you defiled. Our wives have you ravished. You took our wives right before our eyes. Read.
Were forced to leave their families, their culture, and their ethnically prescribed identities behind.
So they had to leave everything, their culture, their families, their children, their identity behind. They had to leave everything, to the point that, think about it, what do you have after that? Nothing. And that's why you were allowed to do anything with a woman, and to the point that our sisters liberally give themselves up, because they're not even they don't even know who they are. Their body to them is a sexual pleasure for you. That's what they think their purpose is. Now you have big money. You could pay them to do whatever you want in Dubai, in your sex parties. Go on.
They were sold along with the other regional treasures for which different areas of the West African coastline were named. Gold, ivory, and grain. Brenda E. Stevenson, Slavery.
That's it. All right.
We must constantly keep in mind the fact that the unrelieved daily misery of the Africans held captive in Africa became a central part of the human landscape, the language, the culture of Africa. Imagine, for example, the psychological impact on the people of Africa of thousands of African women and girls aborting and possibly dying in the process, day in and day out, along the way to and within these dungeons. Imagine giving birth to healthy or sickly newborns only to see them die of malnutrition or dysentery, or killed by a crazed mother or slave driver. It's no wonder that Europeans involved in the trade at any level had to justify the bestial violence and squalid conditions inflicted upon their fellow human beings. By the late 1500s, European scientists, intellectuals, and priests began to make popular the notion of Africans as subhumans and uncivilized beasts, a burden being saved by slavery.
You see that? They, to the point that they know that what they did was so inhumane that they had to justify it by saying that the only way we could break these inhumane, uncivilized beasts was by slavery. And we had to give them our religion, our Christianity, so that we could civilize the unsaved beasts. That's the reason why they think it, and they try to convince themselves in their mind that what they're doing is right. Oh, you got the video clip now. We can see that. Pull it up. We're going to go to the next article.
I was so young because I was saved. And I thought everybody in church was saved and trying.
Because that's how you were brought up.
I was a virgin at 19. I had slept with a man or a woman. I didn't know anything about masturbating or sex or anything.
Yeah.
Until that minister at his church, minister that raped me, his name was Keith Campbell. I don't know if he had one or two kids, but his wife was pregnant with another child. And his name was Minister Keith Campbell. He could sing very well, and he can play the organ and piano. And he asked me to go out of town with him to help him drive to Virginia for a revival. And that's when I was asleep. He wanted to come and perform oral sex on me. That opened my life up to homosexuality. I had never been with a man or a woman before that time.
Right.
And the next person was Bishop G.E. Patterson.
Oh.
G.E. Patterson was a low-down, evil, self-righteous man. He thought he was so much.
And you said Bishop G.E. Patterson bailed somebody out of jail 3 times for picking up male prostitutes.
Correct. Bishop bailed him out of jail.
That's it. That's all I want. Notice how he said at the age of 19, he was a virgin. Neither did he masturbate, have any type of sexual relations with a male or female until he was raped by these priests, these men that were supposed to protect him. And they defiled him. They took his innocence from him to the point it altered his spirit. Look at him. The way he sits, his mannerism, the way he talks. The spirit, when you another person outside of the nature, when they take that spirit or they take that innocence from that individual, it's as murder. You killed the spirit within a man. Now you have what is called a homosexual. The man that we see before us is a result of the trauma that he faced from that experience of being molested and raped by somebody that he was supposed to trust. Now give me the next article.
Effects of sexual assault and rape.
Now go down. Now you must say, okay, why are you bringing up old generational trauma that I experienced? Because some of you sisters, as well as you brothers, still carry it with you. You're prisoners within your own mind. In order to give you the correct prescription and give you the drug that's going to free you from that, that's going to heal you, we got to identify the problem. You got to face it head on, because some of you sisters want husbands, but you still at night, or every day, you still talk about what happened to you when you was 5 or 10 years old. You keep on replaying and reliving it in your life to the point you can't move on, but you bring that in a marriage and you still want to talk about it. When your husband touch you, he can't love you enough because of the trauma that you experienced, and it reminds you of what that guy did to you. So now your husband can't love you. He can't have sexual relationship with his wife that he bound himself to because you decide to harvest that trauma within your mind and a prisoner within your own thoughts. You are a prisoner of your own soul. Now let's go down. Yep.
What are common physical effects of sexual assault and rape?
Okay, I don't want the physical effects. I want to go down. Okay, go down. Right there.
What are common mental effects of sexual assault and rape?
Okay, let's go to the first one.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder is something that people within the military that face war experience when they come back from seeing death. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Read.
Including flashbacks.
Flashbacks of the traumatic event. Read.
Nightmares.
Nightmares. You have people in the war see nightmares of some of the bodies that they killed, or see their friend or loved ones explode from a grenade or was shot down, the body's sewn in half. But you have some of the sisters or brothers that experience some of these traumatic events from being molested or raped, have flashbacks or even nightmares. They keep on reliving and replaying within their mind, and they can't escape their own thoughts. Read.
Severe anxiety.
Severe anxiety is some of the pain. Go on.
And uncontrollable thoughts.
You have no control over your thoughts. Now let's go to the next one.
Depression.
Depression. Some of you are still depressed to this day. Read.
Including prolonged sadness.
Prolonged sadness. Every time we see, brother, why are you so sad? Sister, why you always come to the Sabbath with your sad face? You have yet to let Christ enter into your life and your spirit. You have yet to let go. The scripture says old things are passed away, but you want to nourish it or nurture it as if you're getting some type of dopamine fix of being a victim. You get a dopamine fix, or it's like almost a drug of you reliving that pain to be a victim, so everybody can look around you and feel sorry for you. Are you okay? Is everything going to be all right? What's going on? What happened? Let's talk about it. Knowing that we talked about it how many times. Only you can overcome you. Only you can build yourself up. Only you can get rid of those thoughts. We could give you the medicine, but you have to take the medicine. We can lead you to clean water, but you got to go to the ground, lap, and sip it. You got to drink that water. Only you could do that. Read.
Feelings of hopelessness.
Feelings of hopelessness. We read that earlier. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick. Feelings of hopelessness to the point that you become depressed, you become sick, you lose weight, you're unsuccessful in your relationships, your relationship with your husband, with your children, with your family members, with the congregants, at work. Read.
Unexplained crying.
You cry at night, you cry randomly. Go on.
Weight loss.
Weight loss.
Or gain.
Or gain. Weight loss. You lose a substantial amount of weight because you stop eating because of the trauma. Or some people, and we're going to go into that, some people eat. They find comfort in eating. So a lot of people that are way overweight is because of they're trying to feed their trauma. They're trying to nourish the pain. They're trying to get nutrition from their sorrows and tears. And they eat their way into depression. They eat their way into oblivion. And we said, brother, how did you get that big? Because rather than dealing with it, you decide to get some type of pleasure or relief in food. Some of your escape is food, and that's why you're fat and overweight. Because we look at some people and say, damn, how did you get that big? Because you're depressed. You gave up the ghost. You gave up the fire, and you don't even want to fight. You lost. You say, I give up. I don't care about myself anymore. You let yourself go. And you trying to justify it. And in America or society, they create justifications. Like you have Lizzo. You have Lizzo. You have the new Sports Illustrated. They're putting a new imagery of a body thank you. A new imagery that they're putting out, a body positivity, that it's okay to be fat. They're promoting an unhealthy, unethical lifestyle that's not conducive. And then you feed into that knowing that it's not wrong, And you want us to accept you when you can't even accept you. Because why justify it? You know it's wrong. That's why you justify it. You know when you look in the mirror, brothers, and you can't see your penis, it's a problem. You're supposed to see your penis. You're supposed to see that thing. Go on.
Loss of energy or interest in activities
Loss of energy or interest in activities or what?
Previously enjoyed.
Or previously enjoyed. You come in, you're depressed, you're sad, you lost the battle, you're always depressed, you're always sorrowful. Read.
Suicidal thoughts or attempts.
Some of you try to kill yourself. Don't think that these thoughts or attempts come from nowhere. Some of these people try to kill themselves because they're trying to escape their body. They're trying to escape their mind. They're trying to escape their prison, them being imprisoned within their mind, and they can't get the keys to escape it. So they try to kill themselves out of it. Go on.
Dissociation, including not being able to focus on work or on schoolwork, as well as not feeling present in everyday situations.
Go down.
What are common emotional effects of sexual assault and rape? Changes in trusting others.
Now, you don't trust anybody. You don't trust the man you want to marry. Insecurity. Go on.
Anger and blame.
Anger and blame. Read.
Shock.
Shock.
Numbness. Loss of control. Disorientation. Helplessness. Sense of vulnerability. Fear. Self-blame. Guilt for allowing the crime to happen. Feeling that these reactions are a sign of weakness. What else could someone experience after sexual assault or rape? Other circumstances can develop for a survivor after being sexually assaulted or raped. A survivor may develop a negative outlook and feel damaged or unworthy of a better life.
And that's why a lot of sisters partake in a promiscuous lifestyle. Prostitution, they go into porn, or they allow men to sexually abuse them by sleeping with hundreds of people. I know women like that. I know women in the world that I know that slept with over 400 men. I said, damn. Over 400 men. And you go into her life. I remember this sister, Northern Kingdom sister. She was the camp whore. Everybody slept with her. Everybody. To come to find out, one day she was drunk and she was just pouring out her life story. I didn't touch her. I didn't touch her. So one day she was pouring out, she was crying because she was drunk and she was crying. And then she let everything go. She said, yo, he says, I don't know why I'm like this. I don't want to be like this. He says, one day I was on a beach. I was with this person I trust. I got drunk and he raped me. And ever since that, I just been overly sexual and promiscuous. I can't stop it. It's because of that unworthy feeling, that negative outlook, and feel damaged or unworthy of a better life. So because of these negative feelings that she started to develop because of that incident, she became promiscuous and she started to feel unworthy to the point that she gave over her body. She had no self-respect for her body because women are supposed to respect their body. The woman is supposed to, that's one of the most precious things is a woman's chastity. Her virginity is a woman's most precious thing, and men value that. But now you don't value because that value was taken away from you. So now you said, damn, the one thing that was precious to me, that one thing that men value was taken from me. Now who's going to value me? I'm already defiled. So what do? Rather than dealing with that trauma, you dig yourself deeper to the hole and you allow yourself to fall deeper to the ditch and go deeper and deeper and deeper down to the rabbit hole rather than stopping it there. Go on.
Drug or alcohol abuse may also become an issue as a way to cope with the overwhelming feeling.
Read.
Women may also have trouble with their menstrual cycle and fertility. In addition, survivors may experience chronic fatigue, shortness of breath, muscle tension, involuntary shaking, changes in eating and sleeping patterns, sexual dysfunction.
All right. Give me Sirach 26, verse 10. So no matter what traumatic experience that you suffered, you should never give yourself into the thoughts that you're unworthy, you're unsuitable, and you don't have any worth. To be sexually exploited or promiscuous in lifestyle. Read.
Sirach chapter 26, verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless, Keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. Watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow.
Our sisters should not give themselves to the scriptures in terms of allowing yourself to be sexually abused or used as a human receptor, I think. Receptor, thank you. Receptacle, right? Everybody's saying something different. You shouldn't allow yourself to be, let me use another different word. A dumpster. Exactly, thank you. Get me Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. We're black. I have 3 different answers.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 17. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomite of the sons of Israel.
No matter what happened, it should never be an excuse to reason why you're promiscuous or why the brother became gay or he decided to partake in a homosexual lifestyle. He says, listen, I wasn't like this prior to this. So that's not an excuse. Even though these things happen to you, it doesn't make an excuse for you to be promiscuous or make an excuse for you to go and partake into homosexuality. The Bible says what a Bible is. You should not be a whore, neither should you be a sodomite. Now, I want to go to the next thing. Trauma that we experience in our community. Colorism and self-hatred. Give me Lamentations chapter 5, verse 7. Now, this is the big thing, and guess what? We even experience to an extent, and it's almost like reverse colorism. Lamentations chapter 5, verse 7.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not. We have borne their iniquities. Servants have ruled over us.
Oh, sorry, wrong scripture. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 2, verse 9.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 9. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place.
So the so-called white man, when he came pillaging our villages, when he took our mothers, our fathers, our children, our daughters, when he took our wives from us, he defiled our virgins. What did he do?
Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness.
Let none of us, the Amalekites, so-called white people, Edomites, let none of us go without our voluptuousness. Let none of us not partake in the voluptuous lifestyle, that anything that comes to our mind, our thoughts, our pleasures, let's partake in on our fleshly lusts. Go on, excuse me.
Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place.
Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness. What were the tokens of joyfulness? Them leaving the seed in every country, every place they went. They raped that woman and they left traces and evidence of them being there. Go on.
For this is our portion, and our lot is this.
That's what they said. This is our portion and our lot is this. We only live once. While living, we might as well take what we want and take what we see. We see the beautiful Israelite sister over there. Rather than working for her, I'm going to take her from him. If she has a husband, guess what? I like her, so I'm going to take her from the husband because I'm interested in her. If he has a daughter that I like, I'm going to take the daughter and take her virginity, no matter her feelings or even her father. That's what they did. They left their tokens in every place they went. They left their seed and mixed it in and mingled it within our nation. Get me Matthew chapter 13, verse 25. And that's when you develop what is called colorism. You have some people, because of the racial mixing, or you have mulattoes, or you even have what is called, you have something for me? You keep on bringing images up. If I'm talking, bring it up. Okay. So these are the things that they did. And this is the reason why. And it's hard to see these images, and it shouldn't make you mad. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. When you see our beautiful daughters and then just doing pleasurably and do whatever they want and abusing our women, our wives and our daughter, and you don't want judgment on these people, you want to save them? Look at this. A likely healthy young Negro wench. Read that.
For sale, a likely healthy young Negro wench, between 15 and 16 years old, she has been used to the farming bulls. Excuse me, what is that? Bus.
Keep going. Just read.
Sold for want of employ. Inquire at number 81 William Street.
Negro wench, 15 and 16 years old. Traumatic experience. Being raped over and over and over and over again. Countless times. Hundreds of times. Trains ran on them. And then guess what? These women got older. And then their daughters were raped. And then their daughters are raped. And you thinking that the trauma that they experienced from their bodies being overly and sexually abused, that they didn't carry this throughout their generations, and then it passes on to their children and to their women. You think that when they look at the black man, their husband, you think they don't hold any type of animosity against them? She's thinking of mine. Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you prevent this? Why did you allow this to happen? Why did you allow our daughter to be abused over and over and over again? And you wonder why the black women have self-hatred towards us. You wonder why they have animosity towards them. They keep on saying the black woman's the unprotected woman because of slavery. They're reliving the trauma that happened to us hundreds of years ago. That's keep on playing and recycling and regenerating within their mind through the DNA, and they carry the burden today. And they're living out the effects, and we see today, monsters. This is the creation that was created within an American laboratory that they foster and nourish within us. And we live out the conditions and the trauma that they inflicted on us, but they call us a hate group. They're a hate group. They're a genocide group. They're every type of thing that you could think about, any adjective, any synonym. These people are it. These people are the wicked, they're the devil. But you will have them convince you that we're a hateful organization, that we're racist. No matter how much proof or evidence we show you, you still will side with the devil. Some of you Negroes, you have to die. You're no good for the nation. You were born in vain. Some of you gotta go. 2/3 of you are no good. You're gonna side with the enemy, with the oppressor. You're gonna stay there on, and you're gonna put us to death. And only thing that could save you is death alone. That's the only thing that could kill you. The only medicine that you could take is death. Now, Matthew 13, verse 25. Colorism.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 25. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
While men slept, while were we in sleep and slavery, the enemy came and sowed tares, meaning they raped a woman, they planted a seed. Now, they didn't rape the whole nation. Neither did they turn over, or neither is their seed surpassing our nation. Because people say everybody has white blood in us. No, that's not true. Israel numbered the sand of the sea, and to add on top of that, they had to go to fertility doctors in order for them to have children. Because why? They're infertile. They don't produce child, or they're not as fruitful as we are. They're trying to find out drugs, or they're trying to pay them to have children, and they're trying to abort us or create different abortion institutions so that we could kill off our children because we keep on producing. We're fruitful. The white woman is infruitful. She's non-fertile. Read on.
But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
So the tares that the enemies left was the tokens that they left in terms of when they raped our women. So the tares that the enemies left is the tokens that we read in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, when they lived voluptuously and they raped our women and had their way with them, making them bed wenches. In slavery, like I said, with Northern Kingdom in Puerto Rico and Brazil, you have the slave master will rape our women. The children that were born from them, they would have them mix in with the community, with us. All right? And that's where you have colorism. And then the lighter skinned slaves, what would happen? They would have them in the house, and the darker skinned slaves, they would have them in the field, creating that division. And we still have that division today. Give me Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. So they do that to Southern Kingdom as well as Northern Kingdom. Hosea 7, verse 8.
Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. Ephraim He hath mixed himself among the people.
So Ephraim, the northern kingdom, have mixed himself from among the people. Go on.
Ephraim is a cake not turned.
Meaning Ephraim, because of the racial mixing, because of the rape, because of the tokens left amongst us and the tears from the enemy, Ephraim is a what?
Cake not turned.
Ephraim is a cake not turned. Meaning one side of the cake will be dark and the other side of the cake will be light in pigmentation. So Ephraim is a cake not turned. Read.
Strangers have devoured his strength.
Strangers mean the conquistadors, the Spaniards, which we know today to be Amalek or so-called Jewish people today. Your SPLC, your ADL, your Israelis, your Zionists, your Sephardic Jews. All of them, the Eastern European Jews that they claim to be. These are the people that were raping our women, that had them as bed wenches, the ones that try to hide themselves in history. Go on.
Strangers have devoured his strength.
The strangers have devoured our strength. Read.
And he knoweth it not.
And we knoweth it not. We don't even know who the enemy is. Go on.
Yea, gray hairs are here and there upon
We get
him.
old. Read.
Yet he knoweth not.
Yet we still don't know, but by the Bible. Give me Sirach chapter 14, verse 4.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 14, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
He that gathereth by defrauding his own soul.
Nope, verse 5.
Verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good?
When they did this to us, when they divided us to colorism, when they raped our women, what happened? We began to hate ourselves. So when you hate yourself, you hate your very color, because you see that the lighter-skinned slaves were treated better. They were brought in the house, in the master's house, to be the servants. They divided us. They treated them better. They clothed them better. They fed them better. They gave them better health care. They gave them better education. We started to develop animosity towards each other, to the point that when we see black, we said black is whack and white is right, and lighter skin is good. So we started to develop self-hatred and colorism within our culture. When we see a black woman, a beautiful black woman, we say, oh, she's ugly. So the black sister developed a self-hatred for herself. She developed self-hate complex. And then what I noticed is, and developed in a self-hateful complex, a lot of our beautiful dark sisters will give themselves in a promiscuous lifestyle because they see that, you know what, I can't get attention from my brother that I find interest and like in. He doesn't view me as beautiful because I'm not light enough. I'm too dark. Darkers look as ugly. What do? The only way I get attention is becoming sexually active, promiscuous. So they start having sex a lot. I noticed this and I've seen this a lot of times. Our darker sisters started becoming promiscuous because they thought that they were ugly, and because brothers thought that light skin was beautiful. No, all 12 tribes are beautiful, no matter what color. And guess what? And I don't want it to be a reverse colorism, nor the kingdom coming in, because now we're reversing the cycle. In terms of the reverse of the cycle, we're showing that black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black, we were created from the dust of the ground. Dark pigmentation, dark melanated skin tone. God was black. Christ was black. Solomon was black. All the fathers were black. Very dark. Now, Northern Kingdom might come in. Now, they're seeing this and say, wait a minute. Damn, I thought light skin was beautiful. No, all of us are beautiful. Israel, numbers of sand in the sea. Israel comes in different colors, different forms. No matter what happened to us, I don't want to think Northern Kingdom think that because of their skin tone, they're not beautiful. The black that we teach. No, you're beautiful too. We're not going by the color. You're going to get your color in the kingdom. You're going to get your dark pigmentation. You're going to get your woolly hair. You're going to get that back in the kingdom. So don't worry about it. When we see black is beautiful, we have to build up the minds of our people, of our brothers and sisters that was taught self-hatred in the world and building up. We're not going to forget about you because you're beautiful too. And you're going to get your color back as well. So don't think that we're leaving you to hang or thinking that you're ugly. And when we go on Esau talking about red, because Northern Kingdom have a different type of skin tone. They don't have that Edomite red tone. They have like a lustful, I'm trying to think of like an undertone. Yeah, it's like a caramel. No, I'm caramel. They're a little lighter than caramel. Yeah. It's like a shade, a tint of dark that's in there somewhere hiding. Like peekaboo. You're still a little Negro. You can tell the difference. It's a different Negro kind of light skin today. Brothers try to call me light skin. I'm not light skin. I'm dark skin. I'm black and beautiful. You're this dark. You're night dark. I'm day dark. I'm not night dark. You're the you know the three time periods of dark. You're the twilight. You're dusk. I'm twilight. I'm getting to dark. Get me Chris Brown.
Hey guys, it's your girl Crystal and welcome back to my channel, Chris Logic. Don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button. So the first topic on today's docket is gonna be Chris Brown and him being accused of being a colorist again, okay guys? So people are canceling Chris Brown all over social media because a woman has taken to TikTok to accuse Chris Brown of being a colorist, okay guys? I'm gonna insert that clip right now for you guys.
I was 26 years old, sitting in line at a very exclusive Los Angeles club. I live in Los Angeles, and I was with two light-skinned girls and one white girl. And we're walking into the club, and a very famous R&B singer, walked up to me and looked at my girl and said, "You can get in, but no darkies." I kept walking because I was like, huh? He's like, "I said no darkies," and I was literally escorted off the property. Let's just say in that particular day, my dating preferences completely changed. And I just want to say to him, look at me now.
All right. So she got to convince herself that she's beautiful. And she look at her skin tone, even though she shouldn't be in the club anyway. But she has a beautiful shine, black shine, a beautiful, lustful, cocoa skin type of color. But that's a self-hatred that's been nourished within our community, and it's displayed within the music industry, and it's being reflected within our brothers, and you see our sister develop a form of self-hatred, but that was been nourished from us from youth by the slave master. And these are the same people that you want to save. Give me the next one. The doll experiment. Everybody should have seen this or know of this.
Which doll is the black doll? And which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll? And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because she's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me?
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
Do you see the despair in our children's face? This is from a very young age when they shouldn't know too much about self-hatred. But even in the children, think about it. The images that's been portrayed throughout the media is one of self-hatred. The religions that we accepted, the white Jesus that they push throughout your TVs, in your churches, in your magazines. When we say Christ was a black man, and then you Christians come and say that it doesn't matter what color it is, this is the result of the trauma that our children face because of your Christian ideology and your colorism. That doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. But it only matters when we bring out the true color. But it didn't matter to you when they paint the image to be white color. That's why we have to keep on pushing this image to our children, because they look at themselves. He says, which doll is the bad, ugly doll? The black one. You see the face get lower. Which one doll is the pretty doll? The white one. Why? Because it has two eyes. When he looked, and so the black doll didn't have two eyes? He said blue eyes? Oh, blue eyes. So blue eyes is beautiful. Blue eyes is the eyes of a devil. That's what it is. Northern King, you have blue eyes? I'm sorry. You get your brown eyes that, but some of you going to get cut up in this. Sorry. Casualty of war. You're just going to have to bear with me for a little bit in my folly. So, and you see their face, they start to realize that, man, I'm a reflection of the dog that is called ugly, bad, criminals. The news that the news every day, what do they have? Images of criminals, images of thugs, images of violence, and they put our pictures up there. So there's no righteous pictures being displayed or imagery. That's why IYC Watch and Read is important. That's why it's important that we keep on pushing the image of Christ, no matter how you feel, no matter what you say. Oh, image doesn't matter. Okay, get the hell out of it. It doesn't matter. But we're going to keep on teaching because it matters to our people, and this is how we know it matters. Give me the next video. I want to go to 745. 745. This is why color matters. 745.
Test was performed on, associating white with being pretty or good and black with ugly or bad. Today, the way the media depicts so-called African Americans and so-called Hispanics has a major impact on our youth. So how do we combat these strange doctrines being pushed on our children? Israel United in Christ Houston, Texas camp has performed the same doll experiment on repentant Israelite youth to see if their mind has been renewed by being taught out of the Bible instead of through the media.
Can you tell me which doll looked like Christ?
This one.
And why?
Because he's an Israelite, she comes from the 12 tribes.
Can you tell me which doll looks like Christ? And why do that doll look like Christ?
Because she's black, and in Revelation 1:14 says that his hair is white like wool, and his feet unto like fine brass.
Can you tell me which doll looks like Christ?
This one.
Why does that doll look like Christ?
Because it's round.
Can you tell me which doll is the good doll?
This.
And why is that doll the good doll?
Because it keeps the commandments.
Okay, can you tell me which doll is the good doll?
This one.
And why?
Because she keeps the law, statutes, and commandments.
Can you tell me which doll hates you? Now, why does that doll hate you?
Because she's Esau. And she did bad things to us. Esau did bad things to us.
And can you tell me which doll hates you?
Huh?
And why?
Because she took us in slavery.
Okay, can you tell me which doll hates you? And why?
Because she stole our heritage.
Can you tell me which doll looks like you?
This one.
Good job. Thank you.
Hey, shout out to IUIC Houston camp for that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And this is the job that we have. When they say image doesn't matter, brothers and sisters, never let them try to bring you down back to where we came from. We show the difference before, like I said, us coming to our culture, our nationality, repenting, and coming back to our rich heritage and what it does for our children. Give me Psalm chapter 78, verse 5. You see the cycle is reversed when we teach our children their beautiful, rich heritage, their culture, that they were a great people, that Christ was black, Solomon was black. King David was black. The mightiest people, Queen Esther. You have Judith, Sarah, all of our foremothers. And we keep God's commandments, and that's why we're good. And Esau's the devil. The white people, they're evil because they enslaved us and they want to hurt us. That's what they're scared of. That's what they don't want. They want to keep us in a low self-esteem. They want us to have self-hatred so that our children can grow up hating themselves, feed into white society, and not feed into black society or Israelite society. Read that.
Psalm chapter 78, verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
That's why it's important to make the laws, our culture, heritage, our customs known to our children, because it was pointed as a heritage and law to our fathers. Read.
That the generation to come might know them.
That our children to come might know them. Read.
Even the children which should be born.
Even the children after the generation to come, our children comes, they're taught this, then their children will be born and taught the same thing. Read.
Who should arise and declare them to their children.
Who shall rise and declare it to our children. Is that it?
That they might set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments.
That our children might set our hope in God. Gotta hurry up a little bit. Time is running out. All right, I want to get to give me Lamentation chapter 5, verse 3. So another traumatic event that we suffer, and we see that having two parents in a household is beneficial, and it's conducive, and it's important in terms of the upbringing of our children. You know how difficult it is to raise children by itself, and our children suffer a lot of trauma. A lot of them get involved in gang activity, drug addiction. Our sisters allow, like I said, at the same time, our sisters, because they didn't have a father figure, they don't have a man to look up to, they try to find love in all the wrong places, and they look for the next man to seek that love, and he uses it, abuses him. And our sisters keep on searching for something that she was never given to from youth. And our brothers search for love or fatherly figure in the streets, and they get caught up in these gangs and drug dealers, thinking that that's the only way or that's the closest to how to become a man. Give me that.
Lamentations chapter 5, verse 3. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
We are orphans and fatherless, and our mothers are as widows. Single-parented households. Give me that. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. So they took our fathers in slavery. They took the strong men that like we read earlier. They made our strong men weak. They separated and divided the household. And our mothers were left to raise the children by themselves. Read.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths.
So women rule over the children that becomes the oppressors. Your gangs, your Bloods, your Crips, your Latin Kings. These are the results of single-parented household. The majority of people in the prisons today was raised by single mothers, because it is not in the nature of a woman to raise a child or raise a son on her own. You cannot teach a man how to become a man. You cannot raise a boy by yourself. You need that masculine energy or that discipline that the man was made to enforce within the house. The man brings order and structure as well as discipline. The mother nourishes the child and brings her up, or brings the children up. It was always a balance. The discipline comes from the father and the nourishment comes from the mother. Even, like I said, single-parented fathers, household with fathers leading, the fathers is no different from the father in a two-parented household. The statistics and the rates stayed the same. You have that? All right. Thank you. Oh, you guys, all right. You guys are right.
Statistics. 63% of youth suicides are from fatherless homes, 5 times the average. 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes, 32 times the average. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes, 20 times the average. 80% of rapists with anger problems come from fatherless homes, 14 times the average. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes, 9 times the average. Father factor in education. Fatherless children are twice as likely to drop out of school. Children with fathers who are involved are 40% less likely to repeat a grade in school. Children with fathers who are involved are 70% less likely to drop out of school. Children with fathers who are involved are more likely to get A's in school. Children with fathers who are involved are more likely to enjoy school and engage in extracurricular activities. 75% of all adolescent patients in chemical abuse centers come from fatherless homes.
That's it. Get me 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. So the statistics don't lie. So when we say that a woman cannot raise a child by herself, it's not some type of slight, or it's facts. A woman, we were made together, like it says, be fruitful and multiply. God made us Adam and gave us him Eve. By Adam and Eve, it takes 2 to raise a child. You know how difficult it is for just to raise children in general? The spirits that children have in them. Can you imagine? I was talking to my wife earlier today and just looking at my daughters and the spirits that they have. Remember, the scripture says, foolishness is bound in a child. Children do all types of stupid things, wicked and evil things towards each other. Can you imagine with 2 parents raised in the laws, teaching the commandments, the things that they have to deal with raising the children and teaching them the commandments, how to be obedient, how to have the fruits of the Spirit, how to love their neighbor as herself, how to not steal, how to lie. We got to instill these values in them every day. The scripture says, when you lies down, when you walk by the side, when you lay down. 3, all throughout the day, we're supposed to be nourishing the commandments in them, nourishing discipline, bringing them up in the laws, teaching them their heritage, their culture, telling them right from wrong, giving them a spirit of discernment. Every day we do that, and they still do the opposite things from time to time. They still do bad things. They color on the walls. They do all types of things. Can you imagine a single woman raising a child by herself? They become the monsters that we see terrorizing the communities today because you cannot raise a child by yourself. Give me that in 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 8 now.
2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places.
Read.
And the fires shall be oft sent out again.
Come on.
And the wild beasts shall change their places.
Go on.
And menstruous women.
And menstruous, evil, wicked, demonic women, read.
Shall bring forth monsters.
Shall bring forth monsters. You notice how it says menstruous women, meaning single-led female parented household, shall bring forth the monsters that we see terrorizing the communities that's involved in these gangs, that's involved in these drug wars, that's involved in drill music. These are single-parented households led by females. And see, well, I raised my child to be successful. All right, you might be the exception. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions out of the bunch, or a few exceptions. But the vast majority showed that women raising children by themselves has failed our youth. So now we understand that brothers stepped out. We understand that some brothers are no good. Some brothers, because of the trauma that they experienced, that low self-esteem, they lack that fatherly figure. They don't know how to be a father or a man. Some brothers walk out. We understand that. But in nourishing a nation and rebuilding the broken pieces within our minds, guess what? We tell your sister to support us, to play your role, to be that wifely figure, to be that mother. Get me Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. And the menstruous women that bring forth monsters are the ones that are on the street corners, are the ones that's selling drugs, are the ones that's terrorizing the communities, doing drive-bys, producing the music, drill music, gangster hip-hop, that's killing the people, raping, robbing. These are the children that came forth from your single-parented household. Read.
Isaiah chapter 51, verse 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets.
Our sons have lost conscience of who they are, where they came from, their land, their culture, their purpose as a man, their position in society. They lost claims to the Bible. Go on.
They lie at the head of all the streets.
Because they were raised in single-parented household, because they were not given a purpose or discipline, now they lie at the head of all the streets. They're your drug dealers. They're your stick-up kids. They're your gangsters. They're your killers. They're your robbers. They're your thieves. They lie at the head of all the streets. They're not in the streets trying to rob the people up for a revolution. They're the streets destroying the community. Read.
As a wild bull in a net.
As a wild bull in a net, because they're wild as a bull. They cannot be controlled. A lot of these men are, the scripture says, mentions women shall bring forth monsters. The monsters are these wild bull. They're uncontrollable. And the net is the trap music. It's a trap. The music that we listen to is a trap. The prison institution is a net. The politics is a net. The educational system is a net. This society is a trap. It'll set up that way to raise, so you women to separate and be divided for the black man, to raise these sons in single-parented household, to create the conditions that we live in today, that these children are brought up in, to be the thugs that they claim, that they push in the media, the criminals that they push, the ones that are locked up. You bring that up? These are the children that were raised by single-parented household. These are them. No fathers. Because the fathers here, the fathers who took his ass off the street, said, get inside, boy. And these are all them that die. Look at that. All rappers. And yeah, and some of the fathers are weak. And some of the fathers were raised in single-parented households, so they don't know how to be a father. So the cycle continues. And some of them, like I said, even if some of them did have fathers, they don't know how to be a father, because they weren't raised under the law. Now, give me Antoine Fisher clip to show you the traumatic effects that we face and experience because of us being raised like this. That's why we have to take hold of the laws and marry. Go on.
My mother, would you be like how you look, your voice, and your smile, even your scent? For all these years, I wondered about you. I dreamed about you. Didn't you miss me? On the way to school each day, I imagine you were just around the next corner. And when I get there, you would be there. And in my mind, you was always there. You just couldn't find me. So I raced to the next corner, and you'd be there. I know you would. Then you would buy me ice cream. And then you would take me home. I'm a good person. I'm a good man.
That's it. You see the pain that we carry? Some of us are grown children harvesting pain that we carry from our childhood because of that missing link. When we do these things, brothers and sisters, when we have sex outside of marriage, even in truth, you sisters come in, you decide to have sex and leave this truth because you can't control your lust. You couldn't wait for that husband. You decide to go outside and sleep, and then you come in and you want somebody to raise your children. And now you're left with raising that child without his father. And the child's going to grow up and say, where's my father? You don't think that Esau knows this? You don't think that they understand that the trauma that comes from a child growing up without a father in the household? And that's why they call us a hate group? When they nourish these conditions and this trauma that we live in and that we got to grow up with, And that's why the character, Denzel's character, told him that you have to go back and find your family, because God made it that for the family unit to be strong, to have strong children. And you see the difference from people, family that were raised, or brothers and sisters that were raised with two-parenting households, and brothers and sisters that were not raised in two-parenting households. You can see the clear difference. You see there's something missing. You see there's love and that nourishment is missing from them. Let's get the last clip, and then we're going to end class because, like I said, we have, I believe, California camp is coming next, so we have a new schedule coming up. Yep. So the last clip. So we got to cut it short. I have a lot more scripts I didn't go over, but this is what it is. All right, play it. Yep. Will Smith.
Lou, if you walk out of Will's life now, don't you ever come back.
Sit down.
I ain't got time for no lecture.
I said sit down, Lou. You know, Will was doing just fine until you showed up. But now that you're back, you have responsibilities to him.
Hey, look, we're still gonna take the trip.
Oh, bull! Bull! Will is not a coat that you hang in the closet, then pick it up when you're ready to wear it. His life goes on. He's not supposed to be here for you. You're supposed to be here for him.
You get off my back! You think I want this? It just happened! Now, when Will was a baby, I was scared.
Cut the crap, all right? Cut it. Because I've been there. But I didn't run out on my family. I was there every day for them, because that's what a man does.
Fine, Philip. You win. You the man. You a better man than me. You happy? Now, you gonna tell Will or not?
I'm not gonna do your dirty work for you.
Fine. I'll call him from the road.
Yeah, then why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that. Daddy-o! What's up? Will, I'm glad you're here. Some business came up I gotta handle. So we're gonna have to put our trip on hold. You understand?
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just for a couple of weeks.
I understand.
Yeah. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, whatever.
Look, I'll call you next week and we'll iron out the details, okay?
Yeah.
It was great seeing you, son.
You too, Lou.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Will.
You know what? Actually, this works out better for me. You know, the slimmies of summer come to class wearing next to nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Will, it's all right to be angry.
Hey, why should I be mad? I'm saying, at least he said goodbye this time. I just wish I hadn't wasted my money buying this stupid present.
I'm sorry. If there was something that I
Hey,
could
you know what? You ain't got to do nothing, Uncle Phil. Hey, ain't like I'm still 5 years old, Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's Daddy coming home, Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil?
You did.
Got through my first date without him, right? I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then, and I don't need him now.
Will.
Nah, you know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
Hey, I had to cut that before I got teary-eyed. I was like, damn. Yeah, I'm trying to stay strong. Yeah, I don't know about brothers, but that thing was breaking down my wall. I'm like, damn. I'm like, whew. Yo, I had to stop. My eyes got watery. I said, man, I'm talking about Man Up Monday, but my thing is getting real watery right now. I was getting real weak. That acting right there, man, had me feeling it, man. But this is real. This is the trauma that we feel. This is things that we don't talk about. This is some of the things that we experience, some of the trauma that even we face coming into this truth that we have yet to address. So, brothers and sisters, like I said, that's why today's topic was unearthing the depths of trauma that lies beneath, because some of us are walking around with burdens and we're still psychologically imprisoned within our mind, and it's hard for us to escape our own thoughts. So Lord's will was able to give you and reveal some of the trauma that lies beneath that you have yet to heal from. And in healing, the word of God is the only thing that can save us from these thoughts or this trauma that can release us from the prison within our mind. So I did have more scriptures, but we do have a different schedule on the board. So tune in next class for California, and we'll see. All right? Shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless.
Making violence, killing brothers with your riders, selling drugs up on the corners, but the profits here, so boy, you better